I'm Nils Gehlenborg. I'm an associate professor of biomedical informatics at Harvard Medical School, where I run a lab called the HiDive Lab. And HiDive stands for Humans in Data Integration, Visualization, and Exploration, which really summarizes the work that my lab is doing. And in SenNet, my role is to be part of the CODAC, the Data Coordination Center for SenNet, and to provide the data visualization tools that are integrated into the SenNet data portal, and also to think about new ways of visualizing cellular senescence data at sort of the single cell tissue level.
Please give a brief overview of the research you and your team perform.
Data visualization is a process that involves a number of stages, as well as a very diverse set of skills. So the first stage in our process usually to identify the user needs, to understand what our customers or clients, in this case, the scientists who study cellular senescence, actually need. What are the questions that are trying to answer with their data? And then we map those questions into data visualization solutions based on theory, best practices, and the like. And then we design essentially visualization techniques. And then ultimately what we do is we translate these methods that we're proposing into software. And the software tools that we build have also sort of fairly diverse components. There is a really important and critical piece, of course, of all of this is how the data is rendered in the web browser typically these days. And on top of that, we also need to think about how do we access the data sets. So there's usually a question related to data access that enables us to pull the data that we need to visualize directly into these visualization tools that are running in a web browser. And then, of course, we need to think about, how do we draw the pictures that the users can see and interact with, and how we do this in a way that is both sort of accurate to represent the data in an accurate manner. We need to be able to do this quickly so that there is no lag. And so we need to put all of this together. And so my team that is working on these projects has very diverse expertise, ranging from design and studying how humans work with data, to people who can do the software engineering. There are people who study really data access related problems. There are others who study more like rendering related problems. And then there is also a group of software engineers in my team that is building the software in sort of in production ready formats and things about maintenance and deployment of this software. So there are some exciting, I think, contributions that we've been making to SenNet. So first of all, we have a platform called Vitesse. This is a visualization platform that we started to work on a couple of years ago in the context of another similar project, the Human Biomolecular Atlas program, also an NIH-funded Common Fund project that studies healthy tissues across the human body. And so this platform that we have designed to support data visualization, the HubMap data portal, was transferred directly into the SenNet data portal, which uses similar infrastructure. And so the exciting aspect for us here was that it didn't require a lot of work for the team that is building the SenNet data portal to actually set up the first visualizations and make them available to the SenNet community. So that the fact that we have a flexible framework to visualize tissue data down to the single cell level across many different biomarkers and data modalities is one major contribution, I think, to SenNet that we've been able to make available. The other part that I'm very excited about is work that we are doing in the context of visualizing tissue data, three-dimensional tissue data across different scales. And so my team has developed a new technique to basically combine both a web browser-based, sort of screen-based visualization of single-cell tissue data with a sort of a mixed reality headset-based visualization. That, for example, it could be run in a Meta Quest 3 headset, maybe in the future also with an Apple Vision Pro, that allows users to view three-dimensional tissue data essentially floating in space next to them over their desk or in their room, while they can still operate the visualization tools that are on their 2D screen. And so this 2D mixed reality hybrid approach is something that I think is going to have some future in this space of tissue biology as we're studying data sets in 3D and generating data sets in 3D, because the data is intrinsically three-dimensional. So there's not an easy way to project from a block of tissue that was imaged in 3D into some 2D representation. And that's why a headset-based visualization that provides a richer experience, both for the visualization itself, so viewing a 3D data set with a headset provides a much better experience because there's more of a sense of depth. And then interactions in this space are no longer using a mouse, which is very tricky actually to operate a mouse on a 2D computer screen with a 3D object. So in our approach, users can use their hands to interact with the data set that they're viewing through this mixed reality headset. So this is something I think that will, over the coming years, be quite relevant to many researchers in SenNet who will be generating 3D data sets.
What are your thoughts on SenNet as a community and resource?
I think SenNet is, still in an early stage in a way for this project. I think in my experience with this kind of consortia, and I've been part of probably too many over the years, it is very there's always a phase when these consortia start up, and the many teams who are generating data and contributing data need to learn how to get the data in. The team that's running the data coordination center needs to figure out how to get the community to submit data the right way. And so there's always sort of some friction, I think, initially to be overcome, and that's perfectly normal in these kind of settings because it's a completely new group of people who have never really worked together, in particular not at this scale. And I think SenNet is sort of coming to the end of this phase, and I anticipate that in the next couple of weeks and months there will be a substantial inflow of data and release of data sets, which is sort of the first time when SenNet will become a relevant resource to the overall community, when there are data sets in large quantities that can be downloaded or visualized in the portal. And so that's I think what I'm anticipating will happen in SenNet. And then data submission and data releases sort of ramping up slowly typically. So is the science, right? So there will be papers coming out in the next years. And I think this is when SenNet will really show what this community is capable of and the impact that can be made by bringing people with these very diverse skills together to do something much bigger than any individual lab could ever pull off.
What drew you to the field of senescence research?
So I entered this field by virtue of being part of the HubMap Data Coordination Center. And when the request for applications came out for SenNet, I was part of the team of investigators who were already working together in HubMap, who submitted a proposal to do similar work for SenNet. And that's how I ended up in this space. I should maybe also clarify, if it wasn't obvious from what I said in the beginning about how my lab works. My lab is focused on tools and methods development. And that is something that allows us to work across many different domains of biology. We have fairly deep biological expertise, in particular in molecular biology and cell biology. But we're not joining these projects necessarily to drive the biological questions. What we're doing is we provide the tools that other scientists will use to answer their questions in a field in which they are the real domain experts. And so, we've been part of projects focused on cancer, focused on COVID. We're part of HubMap, which is really trying to build this reference atlas for the human body. We've been involved in other atlas efforts similar to HubMap, but focused on particular diseases such as kidney diseases. And so this is from our perspective, it's exciting because there is a really cool biological question, and a really important biological question that this community is trying to answer. And we are excited about the opportunities to create the tools that ultimately will enable that science. And so that's what we're doing and how we ended up here.
What would you tell students and junior investigators who want to research senescence?
To enter the field of data visualization, I think you have to really be excited about problems that require a very diverse set of skills and expertise to solve them. So I think there are some data visualization problems that can be solved by people who are really good at writing code to render a visualization. There are problems that can be solved in data visualization based on or with expertise in essentially human-computer interaction related research. There are problems that require, on the other hand, really knowledge across a lot of different domains. Like it really is the human-computer interaction type research. It's the engineering work that needs to go into building software to visualize very large data sets, in many cases, very complex data sets. There is a need to know how to work on like design, graphic and visual design is a very important aspect, of course, of data visualization. And in the case of biomedical data visualization, there's also a need to understand the biological questions and sort of how biologists and computational biologists, bioinformaticians actually work with data. So there's a sort of a understanding the context in which visualization is used in biomedical research. And so how do you get all of this? There is not a single route into this field. Usually people start out in one of those sort of domains that contribute to data visualization. I myself started in computational biology and bioinformatics, and learned more about visualization, human-computer interaction type research over the years. I know people who entered this discipline from computer science or human-computer interaction research as well. And so even people who are much more interested in design have an opportunity to be involved here. So I think it's a desire to actually create something for other people, who something that will make other people more powerful. If that's something you care about, I think then data visualization is a great field for you to enter.